All right, Jake. So let's move on to the off-ball linebackers position group. Who you lose Jahad Campbell at that stinger position, who also kind
Mhm.
of flexed as a third down pass rusher on the edge, a first-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. But other than that, you return a lot of talent, a lot of
Mhm.
experience. You bring in a guy like Nikhai Hill-Green from Colorado, who's talented and experienced. So, I mean, you look at the trio, I think we could just talk about Deontae Lawson, Justin Jefferson, Nikhai Hill-Green. How do you see that off-ball linebacker position kind of working out for Alabama this fall?
No, I think it's going to be fine. Getting Lawson back was huge. He was a big strength as a linebacker, and again, he went down. Just seemed like the injury bug just killed Alabama late in the season last year. Losing him was huge because he's our signal caller on the defensive side of the ball. So now you have to transition somebody else who's not really experienced in doing that to call the defense and get plays, in and out and get adjustments. Now we got that guy back in Deontae Lawson, and when he's on the field, man, if he can stay healthy, he's one of the best linebackers in the country.
Absolutely. And I think the addition of Nikhai Hill-Green is huge as well, especially in terms of run support. If you go back and watch how he played at Colorado, he was terrific against the run. And I think he's going to add that element to this linebacker group. Jefferson and Lawson are really athletic guys who
Yep.
can play in space. And then you kind of have that downhill guy in Nikhai Hill-Green. So excited about that trio. You talk about the younger guys behind them, though. You have Caden Jones, who was a terrific special teams player for Alabama last year. I thought when he come in and late game situations, played pretty well in that inside linebacker spot. You got a guy like QB Reese, Duke Johnson, Abdul Sanders, Luke Metz, plenty of young talent there in that off-ball linebacker group. And is there a name amongst those five younger guys that you think could, maybe obviously the three guys we've already talked about are going to get the majority of the snaps, but a guy that you're kind of watching from those younger group of players in that inside linebacker spot that you're kind of watching this fall?
A guy that I think has a chance. I saw a lot of film on him, and he looks like a prototypical linebacker in this K Womack defense, and that's Duke Johnson. I'm ready to see what he can do. And of course, he's just got a cool name, Duke Johnson, and that just sounds cool. And I just can't wait to hear Duke Johnson with the tackle or
You,
Duke
you better
Johnson with
you
a
better
sack.
be a good football player with that name.
Exactly. So that just, I feel like, learning pains, a lot of these younger guys, they're not going to see much of the field unless injuries start piling up again. God forbid that happens. But they will get some experience. I'm sure they'll probably come in some of the blowout games. I think we'll probably have at least one blowout game this year, and they'll get some playing time then. But just keep an eye on a guy named Duke Johnson. I feel like he's going to be special.
I really like that, and a
Mhm.
guy who also has a great name, Abdul Sanders. I,
Yeah.
I like him as well. I
Mhm.
really like all these younger inside linebackers because they all bring a little something different to the
Right.
table. So excited about seeing those guys continue to develop as well. And I think this inside linebacker position or the off-ball linebackers have a chance to be a really good, part of this defense. So you think whether it's Justin Jefferson and Deontay Lawson as the starters, or however that works, how
Right.
they decide to use Nikhai Hill-Green. I'm just really interested in seeing how the coaching staff, Coach Chuck Morrell, who's the new linebackers coach there, kind of decides to play those guys and how he's going to work those guys in and out of the lineup. So, really good part of the defense. A lot of experience, a lot of talent back in that room, along with some younger talent that you can continue to groom for the future there at the off-ball linebacker position.